Welcome back to Bouman Reloading. So for today, what we're going to go over really quick, the second step I do on almost all of the brass, I'm going to anneal it with a torch. I use an Anealeez now. I got one for Christmas here last year. I love it. But I have a homemade one that I used for quite a few years before that. Almost the same results, but the Annealeez is more consistent. It is my go-to. But if you really need to, I'll show you here. You can do it with just a socket as well. You can even do it just by hand. That gets a little old though. So I'm gonna break them down individually here. We'll do an example of each one, and then I'll run through some of the PRC brass that I have through the Annealeez and show you how well it works. Be right back. Alright, so for this, I shut the overhead light off. I did that way you can see that flame just a little bit better. You want to try to get that flame tip, just that blue part, that inner flame, to about 1 inch for the Annealeez. That's what I'll run the other things at as well. I never paid attention to that before, but the Annealeez actually have a procedure that they suggest you follow. You don't have to. So here, all you're going to do is you're going to put it in the flame and you're going to spin it. And you're going to just turn it until you'll be able to see it in the brass. I don't know if you can see that on camera very well. It'll actually start to anneal it and it'll change the color of it. It gets rather warm when you do it that way. Get a better socket than this. This socket's 3 times the size of what I actually need. Get something that'll fit your cartridge better, where it'll sit in there a little bit more snug. A deep well would work better depending on what brass you're actually using, if this is your only option. The benefits of annealing, it's going to stop your necks from cracking out. You're also going to get more consistent neck tension for your seating depth, which in the long term will improve your accuracy. It will give you better SDs and ESs. I recommend it. You don't have to do it. A lot of people don't. I definitely do. Everything I reload besides pistol, I anneal, or any other straight wall case, I should say. So, all right, I'm going to shut you off again, and I'll set up the homemade one, run that through a round or so, and show you how that works. All right. So for this one here, I don't have it quite correct because I used to run with the actual torch bottles, the 1 pound blue bottles that are a little taller, whereas here I'm running with a camping one. They do the same thing, but they're a different size. So what that means is my stand that I have for this is not in the correct spot. I have to hold it, which is not ideal. But I don't want to break how I have it set up. That way I can go straight into the Annealeez and show you how that one runs. So all this is, I'll set this down for a second. This is a hanger clamp for basically like an exhaust. It's just a U-clamp or a U-hanger. This is a cooking bowl. I drilled a couple of holes in it to get it centered, and I cut the lip off, cut a slot out in it, and then I didn't show you down below here. This cabinet here is actually a paper towel dispenser out of a job I used to work at. They were throwing it away. I needed some kind of a case that was slanted. It worked about perfectly. Potentiometer here to increase or decrease the speed, and that's your on-off. It'll go forward or backwards depending on how you have it set up. Now there's a few tutorials online on how to do that. It's really not difficult. I ordered everything off of Amazon for $25, $35. Took a little bit of work to actually get it set up, but as you see, it works rather well. You just set the case in there, have it set for a predetermined amount of time, anneal it until you're happy, until you get the results you're looking for. I haven't used this for quite a while. Like I said, I have that Annealeez now. I don't know if I would really change back to this, but for the money, for what it'll do for you, again, I haven't had a single neck crack out since I started doing this. It'll make your brass life and your ES and your SDs last way longer. So I have it set way too slow. As you can see, it got hot. Not overly hot, but it got to a right temperature. So I mean, it annealed it fairly well. It'll definitely do the job. One other thing to add about the torch, make sure you run it for a little while before you use it, because that flame will change. Once it gets warmed up, that flame will change just a little bit. So run it for a few minutes before you actually start. But I'll get the Annealeez up and running here, and I'll give you a tutorial on it. Okay, I have the Annealeez set up here. I have to fine tune it just a little bit. This process is pretty simple. Everything's automated, everything's timed. I have it set on 44%. That's what I use for my... You just want that flame to just kiss the tip of that neck junction there. The nice part about this is you can go in and you can just kind of preload however many you want. It's only going to suck one in at a time. You don't necessarily want to fill it all the way up. I've found that with the PRC, the 7 PRC, it likes to hang up just a little bit if you get too much weight on there. So you gotta baby it just a little bit, but I mean, you could have 15-20 cases lined up in here. So if you need to go run to the restroom or something, or answer the door, you can have this already set up and running. It doesn't take hardly any time at all. I'll set too much in here once. Yeah, see? Well, it caught that time. But if you get too much in here, it doesn't like to drop down. It'll just kind of hold them. And I know some people use the Annealers. Some people use shoot, I can't think of the name of them off the top of my head. There's other products out there besides this one. For the price, this is a perfect unit, and I got this at an even better price for the Christmas present. I don't think I would reload without it, just because it gives you way better neck tension. Everything is just more consistent. And we're doing 50 rounds here. We're gonna run through all of them. There ain't a whole lot more to this video besides running through this, but I want to show you how fast it'll do 50 rounds. And I'll see if I can't grab one of them here. Let's bend down there for a little while and make sure it's not too hot. Alright, see if it'll focus here. It's having trouble focusing, but it's just down past my shoulder junction. You know, it's in the actual wall of the case itself. Not by much, but it is. And that's as far as I need it. I'm only bumping these down about 0.02 of an inch. It makes reloading way easier. This is my second step. After this, I wash it. I have a Frankfurt Arsenal tumbler with some Southern Shine media. And I'll make a video on that too if I can, if I get time. The Arsenal tumbler, the wet tumbler, it's okay. I won't say it's top of the line. I won't say it's bottom of the line. It does its job. It does its job really well. As far as the media, I highly recommend Southern Shine Media. Look them up on Facebook. They're not bad for price. It does an amazing job. You won't You won't get anything stuck in your flash holes any longer. You won't get pins stuck inside of your cases. I've never had a single issue with it. I shouldn't say that. If you try doing like a mix lot of brass, like you're doing range brass, say you're doing 9mm and 45 and 223 all at the same time, the cases will get stuck together with media inside of the cases, and then you'll have to go through onesie twosie and clean it out. Just don't do it as a mixed group. If you do it individually, you won't have a single issue. We're already down to 12 or so cases here. I was kind of surprised that it didn't get stuck like it had before. One thing I will point out is these rollers do come in a different size. So I have another set of these, which are smaller. They'll do pretty much anything up to 308, 30-06. They won't do these Magnum cases, so I had to buy a new set of rollers for it. And then they do have a set of super shorts as well, if you're doing like a 264 or something like that. Where's the super short Magnum? If I end up getting into the 6BR, I may have to get something like that. I'm assuming the other one will work just fine, but I haven't tried it, so. I don't know, I've probably ran about 2,000 or 3,000 cases through this all said and done. Not a lot, but a decent bit. So we're at 6.5 minutes for doing 50 rounds, start to finish. It doesn't take long, it goes by fast. Again, you don't have to have it. You can use the socket method, you can make your own, you can even do it by hand. Whatever you prefer. So either way, I highly recommend annealing. Thank you for your time.